basically I just wanted to do like a quick video just to explain like how I chop samples in FL Studio. So I think for this video I'm gonna run through a template that I use to chop samples, how to like set up the pads for chopping samples as well using a program called FPC, which is in FL Studio. And I'm also gonna run through like an example beat of me chopping a sample. But yeah, take these videos as like more of a conversation thing, because by no means do I know everything. I just want to share like a method that works for me. There's more than one way to chop samples as well. You could use SliceX, you could use the WAV file, chop it up that way. Yeah, there's so many ways, but I just want to share today like a way that helps me. I'm going to use FL Studio. You can use any DAW you want, you could use hardware, but you may be able to apply the same kind of things that I'm going to show you to whatever you do. So I'm going to share the screen, we can get into it. Alright, cool. So as you can see, I'm in FL Studio right now. Let me just run you through like what I've got going. You can see here is the pads that I use. Let me see if I can show it on camera. So I've got the MPK Mini hooked up here. So when I hit a pad, as you see on the screen, it hits the corresponding pad right there. So you can assign whatever you want to the pads, sample, drums, etc., whatever you want really. And that's linked up to the mixer channel. Also, as you can see, I've got a bass line hooked up as well. So if I wanted to add like a bass to the sample, I could just add it in, for example. You see what I mean? So it's just there if I need it. I don't always use it, but it's just nice to have it there, you know what I'm saying? If you were making a beat and you wanted to know like the pitch of your bass, because sometimes it's hard to like hear it in lower pitches, you could just shift it up a little bit and do the bass line like that, record it in, and then just shift it down a couple octaves when you're actually doing it, so it's like an actual bass, you know what I mean? Let me just show you the mixer channel as well. I'm running on 2 screens, so usually I'd have this on the right screen, like pretty big. But yeah, pretty much what I have is a channel hooked up to the table, so that would just be the turntable or like a CD sampler or anything that's just hooked up that I'm getting the sample from. It's coming from a line connection at the back of the vinyl player and into the audio interface through line 1 and line 2 pretty much. Yeah, it's connected basically. So there's that channel. I've got a channel for the sample, so that's just what's ever going to be playing over at chop up. That's here. I've got it hooked up to a frequency splitter as well, which was added recently in FL Studio, so I might go over that in a future date just to like explain how I use it. So I've got that. I've got a sample delay as well. Hopefully I'll show you at the end how that works. Got the sample bass, which you can see is hooked up to the sample channel. I'll explain how that works in the future as well. And I've also got that bass line, so you can see for the soft bass, which I showed earlier, it goes right there. That's my like default setup. I might use everything in a beat, I might use a couple of things, but those are just there because that's pretty much what I use most of the time, if that makes sense. So now I guess we can just like run through how to set up like FPC from scratch if you just like wanted to hook up your pads or something like that. So when you first load it up, you'll see a bunch of drums here, but when you hit a pad, for example, if I go to the top left pad right now and I want to hit that pad, you'll see it hits the one below, so it hits what, the 5th pad. So if I hit the second one, you see it hit the 1st pad, you know what I mean? So that's not really what you want. You want it to be hooked up to the corresponding pads that you hit. So let me show you how to do that. So first, what you want to do, if you don't want these sounds anyway, you just want to empty it right here. Click the top right of it, just click empty, and I'll just empty it from all those drum sounds. What you can do is map notes for entire bank, and this is going to start from the bottom left. So as you can see in my controller, it's got bank A and bank B right here. So bank A is the top 8, and then bank B is the bottom 8. So let me show you how to map those notes. So yeah, we're gonna start from the bottom left because that's what it starts in the program. So you start there, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Swap banks, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. So once you've done that, it should hook up all the notes to the corresponding pads. So if I hit the top left now, you see it hits the corresponding thing there. Next one, you get the idea. Switch to bank B as well. If you just want to do that quickly, what you can do is, once it's like this, save the note layout, and then when you come here, you'll find a bunch of layouts. I find the one which you saved it as, and it'll load up just like this. You can see my name's Daniel, so I've got a note layout called Daniel's note layout. So when I load that up, it'll just do the same thing which I just showed you. See, again, like bank A and bank B, like just remember which one is which. For example, you can see it's green now, but I'm hitting the bottom 8, so yeah, it doesn't really matter, you know what I mean? Just, yeah. Alright, so that's pretty much like how to set up FPC from scratch. So you can use this, and you can drag samples in there, you can drag drums in there, and chop beats that way. Let me just show you, like, with an example. We can do a beat that Kanye did for Game, Wouldn't Get Far. Yeah, we can chop that up because I think I have the sample ready. So let me go and find that. So when you load it up in FL Studio, you can see here, and we'll load up this thing right here. You want to right click it, and that's going to load up Edison. So Edison right here is going to be used a lot for chopping samples. Let me just play it. You wouldn't get far. It would be just a waste of time. I got a built-in rate on your boy. You wouldn't get far. So let's say you wanted that wouldn't get far bit right here. You can just drag it, highlight over it, right? Wouldn't get far. So say I want that. Wouldn't get far. Cool. So that's what I want, right? You see how you can loop it in the top left corner if you just want it to play over and over again. Wouldn't get far. Wouldn't get far. Wouldn't get far. Wouldn't get far. You can also like scrub samples, so you can reverse them, make them go faster. Let's show you. Wouldn't get far. Wouldn't get far. You got the point, right? So let's say I wanted this bit right here. Let's drag it into the FPC, the one that I just made. So if I press the second note, see, it plays it. There's one thing I want to show you how to do as well. So if I press this a couple times, you see how it overlaps, right? You probably don't want, you might, but you probably won't want that when you're like chopping samples. So if you want them to cut off when you play a different pad, or cut off when you play the same pad, what you want to do is, you see this section right here, it says cut and cut by, set them to the same thing. So I just put 0, 0, and you want to make sure all your pads are set to 0, 0. Again, like in my note layout, I've saved it already, so when I start it up, everything's always 0, 0, so it cuts off when you play the next pad. So I'm gonna do the top 8 for now, so you can see when I play it again. There you go. So it cuts off when you play the same thing again, or when you play a different one. So let's try and make a sequence with what we just did. So one more thing, like within Edison, when you're chopping samples, there are various like snap modes. You can have like snap to grid, region, samples, zero crossing. The ones that are most useful for me, or what you probably want to use as well, are snap to zero crossing and snap to samples as well. So what snap to zero crossing does is, you can see here, when I zoom in like really far into the sample, it's gonna pick like periods here where those 2 points, let me see if I can make it full screen, literally are on the same bit, so where they overlap completely. And when you choose a point like that, and make sure there's no popping, like when you trigger the sample, so when you hear it, there's no popping at the start. See that? When you pick snap to samples, you can be a bit more free with what you pick. With this as well, like sometimes there'll be some popping, It just depends on like what kind of point you pick. So always try and go for like points that are pretty like overlapping, if that makes sense. So something like that. So points like that are good. If you don't do that, let me try and find like a point where it's not like this. If you're like wearing headphones, or you can hear that right now, you can hear like it's just that kind of snap or like click at the start, you know what I'm saying? It might be what you want sometimes, but most of the time just try and go for like points that overlap. So let me try and get that chop again. Drag it in. So now we got 2 bits. So that's a nice little sequence right there, but you probably want like a turnaround in your beat as well, which is what I think Kanye did. So he took another part of it. For you, baby, I got a built-in radar. For you, baby, I find you. See that there? So let me get that chop. For you, baby, I find you. For you, baby, I find you. For you, baby, I find you. The more chops you make, it's easier to control it to like the BPM that you pick, if that makes sense. When I actually sequence it, you'll see why. Baby, I need the U bit at the start as well now. So you can see in times like this where like I want kind of more of the U bit, it's easier to switch to snap to samples because you can be a bit more precise with it. There you go. So yeah, I've got pretty much what we need right now. I'll see if I can kind of like play through it. Just loop that bit. So now we've chopped the sample, you want to put it to a tempo or like a BPM so you can have like a metronome so it's actually on beat. So let me show you how to do that. So typically what helps me to do that is there's a thing called tempo tapper here. See if I load it up. So you can click that, or you can use a controller or something. You can tap the pads just to sequence it up. So I usually like just nod your head, you know what I'm saying, when you're playing this. So it's like coming out about 89, it's probably fine, you know what I mean, it might be 90. It just gives you like a rough idea of like what tempo to use. So let's go and record it. You should be able to see the chops in the piano roll here too. So if you want to click them or like put them in by MIDI, you can do that. We're gonna click notes and automation and just like do the loop that we sequenced. So if I just show you that now, let's see what we can do. So yeah, let's record in. The chop's okay, you know what I mean, but like it's definitely not on time great. So you can quantize it if you press like Alt Q. You don't have to quantize everything if you don't want to. You can always shift things about. So if you quantize it, it should be more on beat. Also, I might have to change the tempo or the BPM because I'm not sure if it was the right one, so let me just do all that right now. So you can see right now, I've synced it up, and I think it's about 88, so I just shifted it down 1 BPM. These chops at the start are fine if you play them.
Wouldn't get far, 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 wouldn't get far.
You see like they're nice on beat and whatnot. But if I go to the end and use a metronome, let's hear this.
For you, baby, I'd find you. For you, baby, I'd find you. You wouldn't get far.
You see how like it's fine, but it's the snares are like kind of off, you know what I'm saying? So it kind of throws off the tempo a little bit. So I'm just gonna go back into the sample and just add more chops so I can have better control of it. So let me just do that real quick. So let's listen to the end bit now that I've added more chops.
For you, baby, I'd find you. For you, baby, I'd find you. You wouldn't get far.
See how like everything is nice on beat now, you know what I'm saying? It's just, it links up real nice, you know what I mean? So when you add those additional chops, it helps you control the sample a lot more, you know what I'm saying? So if I play the full sequence now so you can hear it, I'll play it without the metronome.
Wouldn't get far, 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 wouldn't get far, 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 wouldn't get far, far, far. For you, baby, I'd find you. For you, baby, I'd find you. You wouldn't get far.
Super nice, super on beat. So you can just add drums now, you can do what you want to it, you can bounce it out to a WAV file, you know what I'm saying? So many things you could do once you have these chops. Let me explain one thing real quick with the sample chain that I have, or the effects chain that I have. So you can see here, if I actually link what I've done to what I usually do, so I'll put it on channel 2, which is the sample. Let me just show you that. So when I play it now, you see it should trigger here.
Wouldn't get far, 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 far.
That's exactly what I want. Let me show you like the sample delay. So like indoors or just anything that doesn't really have an effect on it, like the sound's always pretty dry, you know what I'm saying? So I've just added like a delay and it goes off to the side as well. So like there's something in the stereo field as well. It makes it just less dry. Let me show you what I mean, because it's easier to like show than describe, you know what I'm saying? So if I turn that up like to exaggerate it, usually it would never be this loud. But yeah, if I play a chop,
You wouldn't get far.
can you hear like the delay off to the side? Let me turn it up some more. I'll do it again.
You wouldn't get far.
You hear that? So when I play a chop, it just sounds less dry. To me, it sounds better. It's just a thing of preference, you know what I'm saying? So I'll usually sit that back down in the mix. With the sample delay, it probably helps if you wear headphones so you can see what I'm kind of saying. But yeah, that's pretty much the effect chain. Let me just show you like adding drums to show you like how a beat would kind of work with that. I'm not gonna do the exact same drums, but yeah, just something that fits. So I just added some drums now. Let me just play them real quick just to show you. They're not mixed or anything, just an example of like how you could make a beat.
Wouldn't get far, 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 wouldn't get far, 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 wouldn't get far, far, far. For you, baby, I'd find you. For you, baby, I'd find you. You wouldn't get far.
You get me? So pretty much that's what I wanted to show for this video. Just how to chop samples, how to set up the FPC, an example of like a beat, you know what I'm saying? But yeah, if you want anything else, let me know. I've got a couple more ideas for like videos. It can seem a bit intimidating, but like I think anyone can do it, you know what I mean? It's not too crazy. This is just like an example of how I usually do things. Again, like these drums, like, all that, it's just an example. Like you can do more, you can do less. The options are endless, you know what I'm saying? So pretty much that's what I wanted to show. So yeah, let me know if you liked it. Let me know if you want to see anything else. But yeah, I guess I'm done for now. So cheers, thanks for watching.